What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another exclusive interview. My name is Scott Mitchell on behalf of PWPonderings, and my guest today is one of my favorite up and coming women's talents of the Southeast scene, one of my favorite up and coming talents of the Southeast scene as a whole. She is absolutely killing it. She is the vampire baddie herself, Ravenna Vein. How are you doing today, Ravenna?
Hey, I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, and I know we were just joking about it. I cannot believe people pronounce your name anything but Ravenna because it's pronounced how it sounds. So like we're just gonna yeah.
I really think it is. I really think the spelling just makes it real simple, but you'd be surprised.
Sadly, I feel like I would be.
Yeah.
And in order to tell your story, I kind of wanted to go back to the beginning of it, and that is when and why did you first get into professional wrestling growing up as a fan?
Well, I first got into it. My parents were both super into it when I was growing up. Um, like very like attitude era. They were like watching every single week. They were having like pay-per-view parties and stuff. So like there's literally a picture of me freshly like newborn in between two like Stone Cold and Undertaker dolls that my dad had. So and they took me to meet Mick Foley when I was like 2. Um so it's kind of always been there. Um my parents got divorced around when I was like 6. And so my mom stopped watching it because she had nobody to watch it with. So we lived with my mom primarily, but then when we went and visited my dad, he had like a best of Hell in a Cell matches DVD on. And my brother and we like walked out into the living room and it was like towards the beginning still, but it was the beginning of Undertaker versus Mankind. And we both were just like, what the hell is on the TV right now? This is so cool. And we both sat down, watched that entire match, and then finished the DVD with him. And that whole trip became dad telling us everything he knew about wrestling and sending us home with DVDs and action figures. And then we're like, Mom, we got to tell you about this thing called wrestling. And she was like, yes. She was so excited because she's like, finally, I get to watch it again with my kids. And it very much became like just like our family thing. And it helped us like bond and come together like after going through the divorce and moving and everything. Like it really like became just the glue for our family. So that was like I became very attached to it that way.
For sure. And you spoke about it a little bit there, like with Undertaker and Mankind, which was an absolutely insane match, a
Yeah.
historic match. But did you have anyone that you were really enamored by, like watching, and they kind of helped you to realize, like, holy shit, this is going to do my life?
Yeah. So obviously I put Taker and Mankind in that category. Just Mick Foley as a whole. Like he's one of my dad's favorites. Like every era, like Cactus Jack, Mankind, Mick Foley, Dude Love, all of it. So he was a big one for me. But as I like got into it on my own and started watching weekly, Edge became my guy. Um, and then of course I went back and watched all of his older stuff and I was like, yeah, this is the dude. This is the guy. And then as we just kept watching and it got later on, when the Shield debuted, Dean Ambrose became my guy. And of course went back and watched all the John Moxley stuff and I was like, yep, this is the one now. So it's been just like finding people that I've gotten attached to and figuring out like because I didn't know indie wrestling was a thing for a very long time. And when I figured it out, then I was like, okay, I need to go back and find everything on everybody that I like. Um, the with the women, actually the first woman I ever loved was Maurice, surprisingly. That was my girl. And then of course when Paige came along, duh. That was like she was the one that I was like, okay, that's a girl that like looks like me. And that's really cool. Because I know a lot of people had that same feeling like with Lita, because she was one of the first that like, was kind of like a punk rocker kind of girl and just had a different look than most of like the divas and like the women that they were looking for. So when Paige came in, that was the big one for me that was like, okay, like that one for real, like that looks like me. That's so cool. Like I could actually do this. And that kind of opened up everything for me. Like seeing her really is what made me be like, you know what? I could do that.
And you saw her make her return to Mania, which was awesome recently.
Yes.
I love seeing her back
Yes.
in WWE. That was super cool.
Yes. I'm very happy that she's back.
Oh, for sure. And I kind of did also want to ask you, when and why did you decide to go down this path in life as opposed to like a 9 to 5 desk type of job?
So, I actually kind of realized that it was like a path I could take. Like I had this whole realization. I went to my first indie show. And I actually found my first indie show because another one of the we'll say this was my first wrestling crush was Drew McIntyre when I was younger. And I'm talking like 2009, 2010, 11 Drew McIntyre was my guy. um and so when it was like shortly after he had been released, um he was advertised for an indie show and I was like this surely isn't anywhere near me. And I was just scrolling on Facebook and then it said it was in Georgia and I was like, "Oh, I have to go." And I remember I ran to my mom and I was like, "We have to go to this show. I have to see Drew. It's happening." And she took me and it was Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment. Um and we went to that show and actually Priscilla Kelly and Kiera Hogan were both on that show. Because that's where they both got their starts. Um and so I saw them and watched Drew wrestle Jimmy Rave. And the biggest thing that made me come back to those shows was Jimmy Rave because I hated him so much. Like watching as a fan, he was such a good heel. I was like, I just want to see this guy get his ass kicked. And so we kept going to those shows. Ended up talking to both Priscilla and Kiera and kind of asked them like, where did you go? Where did you get started? And they kind of explained the process of like going to a school and like everything that it takes to get into it. And I was like, oh, so this really is something like I can do. And I'm in a good spot for it. Like I didn't realize what a like hotbed Georgia was for wrestling. Um, and how lucky I was to be there. So, my first training that I ended up doing was with Murder One, who was one of the like bookers and wrestlers at Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment. Um, and like he just knew me as a fan and knew I wanted to do it. He helped train Priscilla. So he was like, come on, let's do it. And I was like 19, I think, and did my training with him. And that training showed me all I needed to know about if I wanted to do this or not because it was rough. It was hard, especially being somebody that I never did any kind of sports growing up. Like I was never into anything athletic. That was like the most I had ever done. And I was beaten up like every week. I was doing things I've never thought I would ever do, but I still went back every single week and there was nothing that made me like want to quit. Like hit my head. I would like get all bruised up. I bruised my ribs, got all the bruises from running the ropes, all that stuff. And I was just like, nope, I still want this. And I just kept going. And I just, to this day, have not found anything that I feel the same kind of like love and passion and fire for. And I can't explain it. I don't think any of us can explain why we're drawn to this and why we choose to do this. Because I know on the outside, to a lot of people, it seems like, why are you doing that? That must hurt. Like, but it's feels like nothing else. Like wrestling is incomparable to anything else. So once I went to that training and started that up, I was like, yep, this is it. There's nothing else out there for me that feels this way.
And did you have any mentors who really took you under their wing and showed you the ropes early on to help to mold you into the Ravenna Vein that we see before us today?
I have so many. I truly like it's that, it takes a village saying. Um, I've had so many that have helped me and taught me along the way. Obviously, Murder, because he started me out. And he's always like stayed supportive of me. And, he's had me back at their shows now. Like they run all women's shows called Roar. And he's had me back at those now that I finally I'm out there doing this now. Um, Kiera Hogan was definitely one too. She was always like answering questions for me. And, I was like such a big super fan of her, like just her being like at my local indie. I was like, this is my girl. Um, so she was super helpful to me. Um, I Shug D has been very helpful to me. I call him my Uncle Shug. It's a lot of people that I met through AWE that like were originally my mentors and have kind of stuck with me along the journey. Um, but as I've continued, I also big credit to Rev Dan Wilson. Um, he has been one of the ones that's like believed in me the most. And even when I was just managing, like he was like, you've got something, like you're going to go somewhere, you're going to do things, and I back you. And he would give me like critiques on my promos. And, just always supported me and always saw something in me. So I really appreciate that from him. Of course, my husband has been a huge help to me. He's always been big supporter. He will go with me to an empty ring whenever we can and just try stuff. And pretty much anytime I'm like nervous or feel like I want to try something new, he's always just like, I think you can do anything you set your mind to. I think you should just try it and just go for it. You're going to be fine. So that's been very helpful having him. But oh my God, there's so many more. There's literally like a laundry list of people that have been helpful. It's really just been like everywhere I've gone, there's been at least one person that I've, attached to and that has offered me help and offered me critiques. And um, I'm just appreciative for all of it because if I didn't meet all these people and have all this support, I would not be where I'm at.
And something that really drew me to you personally and made me realize like holy shit, this girl's special is who you are in the ring and when you make your way out to the ring, that presentation. When you decided to like kind of go in all in as a professional wrestler, I should say, and you put together who you wanted to be in this crazy world, what drew you to this darker, spookier, vampire, baddie type of route as opposed to anything else that you really could have been?
So I never even played with any other kind of character idea. I think I always knew that this is what it was going to be. Um, I've been, into all of the things that I'm into since I was like 10. And maybe even younger. Like I was watching like all the dark fantasy movies like Dark Crystal, Labyrinth, like stuff like that when I was younger. So I was always drawn to like a darker aesthetic. Um and vampires were like number one and always have been for me. I've just attached to them in so many ways for so many different reasons. And I was just like, I think this is what I'm going to do. And this is what I'm most comfortable doing. And it feels like just, they always say you should have something that's an extension of you or you turned up to 100. And I felt like that just resonated the most with me and gave me like a pathway to kind of turn up the things that I wish were turned up more in my real life and channel them into Ravenna and into what she is. Um, so it's really just like it all kind of fell together. Like I felt like I didn't have to think too hard about it. Um, I knew that I wanted to have the blood involved in some way, like the dribbling the blood when I come out. Um, I originally did not do the upside down hang, but then I figured out how to do it and I was like, perfect. So we're going to do that now. And now that's just such an iconic part of my entrance. Like, one time I didn't do it because the ropes were a little like iffy and I was worried about them. And I literally heard somebody go, oh, in the crowd. And I was like, I'm sorry. But it's just, yeah, I felt like it's just the easiest thing to slip into for me. And I just couldn't see myself playing any other kind of character or any other like creature, I guess. Like this was just, I feel like always what it was going to be.
For sure. And you know, and I love that because watching you in the ring, like you can really tell that because I'm a firm believer of like I don't know, maybe it's because like I briefly trained, so like I kind of see like a little bit of the backstage stuff, not a
Yeah.
ton, but like you know, it didn't work out for me, but I'm happy because I love doing this instead. But but I mean, you know, just seeing like you could see the people who really love their character, who really care about what they are
Mm-hmm.
portraying in the ring, and who really embody it, as opposed to people who are like, oh, maybe this will get over.
Yeah.
Let's just throw shit at a wall and see if it sticks. And I hate that expression, but that's what we see a lot of.
I feel like
And for
especially with
you,
dark gimmicks, that's a thing too.
mhm,
Like any kind of dark, scary gimmick, it's
yeah,
like,
exactly. And I mean, like up, like there's very I count on like the amount of really good, dark, scary gimmicks on the indies today. And
mm-hmm,
like, I mean, up here we have Amity LeVay, who's like insane.
love
Obviously,
her.
she's like a fan favorite up here for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And that's a dream match that maybe we'll be getting sooner than later. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We'll see what happens. Stay tuned. But but I do want to say, like, you know, I've gotten the pleasure to work with Kenzie Paige. I've gotten the pleasure to work with Hunter Drake,
Love her
Kylie
too.
Page, Kylie Alexa now. And we spoke about some in all of those interviews. I spoke about just being a part of that southeast scene because I know Kylie is kind of up here in the northeast now, and we see her
Mm-hmm.
doing her thing and beyond in New England and New York still as well. But just being
Mm-hmm.
a part of that southeast scene, how important is that for you to be a part of?
It's so important. Like I feel like there's nothing like it. I feel like the Southeast scene is just a very like, there's always gonna be like butting heads and some kind of drama in wrestling and like people don't always get along. But I feel like when it comes to like representing the Southeast, everybody can come together for that. Um, like a couple years ago when we had the Southeast First shows, um, and they were doing all of that down here, and I feel like everyone just takes a lot of pride being from the Southeast and pushing that. And we're all just trying to make each other better and trying to make this scene better. Like I feel like overall, of course, like I said, there's always going to be some kind of negative and toxicity to whatever area you're in, whatever, career path you take, it doesn't matter. But I feel like overall there's just a lot of pride that drives the Southeast. And I always feel like personally very proud to be from this area because I feel like we genuinely have some of the best wrestlers in the world that come out of the Southeast or that want to be part of the Southeast. So I feel very proud to be a part of it and to have come from here. And, like Kenzie and Hunter are still very prevalent in the Southeast and are two examples of two of the best wrestlers coming out of the Southeast.
For sure. And you know, I was speaking of the southeast. I want to jump right into it. Saturday, tomorrow, I think it is actually.
Yes.
Saturday, May 23rd, you will be making your return to TWE, which is
Hmm.
one of my personal favorite promotions in the Southeast. I
Oh,
absolutely
me
love what
too.
they're doing. And you will be facing off with the returning Cole Radrick. What is your mindset heading into this one?
I'm excited. I'm nervous, like how I feel for every match. It's another first time matchup for me. I have not worked with Cole before. I had the pleasure of watching him and Jameson wrestle at the last TWE show. And that, you know, was a good like little preview for me because both those boys can go. Jameson is another great wrestler out of the Southeast. So I'm really excited to go into it. I am nervous because, like I said, I haven't worked with him before. I don't really know his weaknesses. I don't really know how to like play the little mind games with him, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. And you know, it's also, you know, we're both crowd favorites going into the match. So it's the dynamic of who's going to be the one to get frustrated first, who's going to be the one to get a little dirty first. So we'll see. We'll see tomorrow.
That's going to be a fantastic match. I don't know if it's streaming or not because I don't see it on the schedule yet. I hope it's made available soon. If it is not streaming live, if anything, it should be on IWTV though, right? For people who want to check.
Yeah. And TWE gets the shows up pretty quick, like within a week or so.
Awesome, because I know sometimes they stream live, but I can never. I feel like it's like a venue thing. Like sometimes different venues, different rules, and different like Wi-Fi issues. Sadly.
Yeah,
that's how it is up here. So
yeah, because we were live for the Sink or Swim show when I wrestled Corinne.
Yeah.
We were live for that one, and they usually go live for like the anniversary show. Like it's kind of like the bigger shows of the year. They usually try to go live and stream it.
That makes sense, honestly. And TWE has been somewhat of a home promotion of yours in a way. What does it mean to you to kind of represent TWE and fly their flag proudly?
Oh, it means so much to me. I love TWE. Like I genuinely love that place so much, and it's such a historic company and a building, and you know, it's just been built from so much hard work and so much love for the business and for that company. It's one of the most like positive and supportive environments I've ever been in. You know, there's people like everybody watches each other's matches. Everybody is there to give each other critiques. Everybody's there to support and help each other. And they're very picky about, you know, who's in our locker room. And who is booked on the show because it's only people that are trying to better themselves and better each other. There's no negative toxic people allowed in that locker room. It's very like it's been very curated, and it's just one of my favorite places to be because of that. So I take a lot of pride in being one of their people and like one of their girls. And especially that crowd too. That crowd is like, that's a special crowd. They are like, I just love performing in front of that crowd and performing in that building.
That crowd is hot, dude. They get
it is
really into that stuff.
They do.
Love it,
they're
it makes it so much fun to watch because they get into that.
They do, and they're along for the ride no matter what. Like and, no matter what match it is.
Oh, yeah. And the last time we saw you at TWE, it came in a double count out with Corinne Joy, who, you know, when I think of up-and-coming women's talents on the scene today, I think of you, and then number two, it has to be Corinne Joy. Like, you guys are two of the hottest up-and-coming talents. So much potential, so much talent already, so young in both of your careers. But while this wasn't a win or a loss for you, it seems to have unfinished business here. But what has it been like for you to work with Corinne and kind of see her growth as well as very quickly in her own right?
Oh yeah, dude, I absolutely love Corinne. We've wrestled like 8 times at this point, and we still have more to come. She is absolutely one of my favorite people to wrestle. We have learned each other, like we almost know each other's like moves and what we're going to do as good as we know ourselves. So it's been very cool to be able to grow with her and, you know, offer each other different perspectives because, you know, we got into the business very different ways. And, you know, she got into wrestling after watching the first Raw on Netflix. Like that was her first introduction to wrestling. So she's in a much newer generation of wrestling, and she just took to it immediately. She's so good. She's so talented. She's such a good performer. And her wrestling only gets better every single time she wrestles. Like I really truly think it's just a matter of time before she's signed somewhere. Somebody's going to scoop her up. So I'm enjoying her while I have her.
And I'll tell you something. You guys seem to work a lot together, but I'll tell you, like, I could watch you guys matches for days because the chemistry you two have already is off the charts. It really is.
Yeah, it's so fun to work together too with just our character dynamics and our different styles of wrestling and our different styles of like how we play our character and how we work a match. It's just so fun, and it's so fun to like try new things with each other and be like, "Oh, well, let's try this next time," or "Oh, let's take this and change that up." Um and we're just like comfortable to try new scary things with each other too. So it's just very fun to be able to have someone like that. Like I would call her my wrestling soulmate because we jive and we vibe, and putting a match together, it's just so easy, and working together is just so simple and easy, and it's like we barely have to think about it. So I love it. I love her. I love wrestling her, and she's destined for great things.
And you also got to take part in the Cupid Cup fairly recently alongside your husband, Sean Christopher,
Yeah.
and a very fun mixed tag team tournament. But what
Yeah.
was this whole thing like for you?
The whole Cupid's Cup thing was super fun. Um, that was probably like my favorite set of matches that I've gotten to have with Sean. We've only tagged like a handful of times. Um, and I mean, that was initially because when I started wrestling, I was like, I am not just going to be your wife that wrestles. I'm going to be my own person. So I'm going to go do my stuff, and then we can come back together. Um, but those were definitely some of my favorite matches that we've had together. And I always feel, of course, way more at ease having him there with me. Um, and those are just super fun matches too. I think him and Grayson have really good chemistry together. Him and Wall too have really good chemistry. And he loves working with both those guys. So we worked Grayson and Corinne in that the Cupid's Cup, but we also had another tag match with them at like the SCI preview show. So we have really good chemistry with them as a couple too. So would love to run that back again. Um, I also owe Grayson because he super kicked me right in the face in the Cupid Cup, and that was super rude. So I would like to have a one-on-one with Grayson and kick his ass a little bit.
That would be an amazing match. TWE, we got to get on that
I'm
because that would
saying.
be fun. And to kind of not to take a little bit of a break from your wrestling side, but I would be remiss if I didn't ask. You and Sean is obviously a very public relationship. I love it. You guys are adorable together. But how did you two meet? And what has it been like you doing all of this with him by your side?
So our meeting is very funny actually. We had mutual friends for a very long time, and we like kind of knew of each other, but we never really spoke more than just a hey brother. Um and so there Sean was in a group at New South. And they at the time I was still just managing, and I was managing Sunny Days and at the time Logan Creed from at Southern Honor. Um so I had been going to the New South shows just because my friends were there, and I went to hang out and watch the show and show support. But Dump, who runs New South, he asked me, he was like, would you want to do some managing here? Like, since you're usually here, I know you can work. Like, why don't we do something? And I was like, okay, I would consider it. And so they had Sean turning on his group at the time, and he was going to go heel. And you know, go on a solo run, which he had never done before. Because he came up just very much, he was always in a tag team or a group. And so they were like, we want to give him a group, but we want him to have like a girl manager. Like he's going to be this kind of cult leadery gimmick and he needs like a cult wife. And I was like, okay, I guess. I like barely know the guy, but whatever. um and so I like finally agreed to do it. And him and I just like started texting and talking to each other like with ideas and stuff like that. And you know, all of our friends were saying to me like, that boy is going to fall in love with you and you're going to break his heart. And I was like, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Don't worry about it. That's not going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. We're working. It's fine. And we did like a couple of shows together and we're talking way more than just about wrestling. We were talking like all the time. We were sending voice messages to each other and stuff. And it was Hoss weekend of 2021 at New South. And it was like we were staying the weekend with our friend Big Dave. And things just started happening. We were just like, I was trying to give him all the signals that I was like, hey, I'm into you. And he was just not catching any of them, just completely oblivious. So it took a minute, but it was like the very end of the weekend and he had ridden with me to the show. So I was taking him back home and I was just so bummed out that he didn't make a move. And I was like, you know what? I'll make the move. He will walk me back to my car and I will make the move. We walked inside. I like lingered around for a little bit. He gave me a hug inside and did not come out to the car with me. So I was like, okay, well, there it is. All right. Now I went to my car and his brother was inside and was like, you know, she was like hanging around waiting for you to do something, right? And he was like, huh? He's like, well, I didn't want to do anything and try anything. You know, we're working together. We're coworkers. I don't want to make her uncomfortable. And he's like, dude, she's into you. So his brother convinced him to run out and he ran outside and stopped me right before I drove away and kissed me. And then the rest is history.
That's adorable. But that's
Very
also really
rom-com.
funny because I love how oblivious some very rom-com, and I love how oblivious some guys are because I've seen that firsthand with friends of mine, and it's like, bro, what are you doing?
He was catching none of it, and he just told me later, he's like, no part of me believed that you would ever be into me. He was like, you were like way out of my league, so I never thought you were going to be interested in me. But I'm like, well, I was. So, and now here we are.
Well, that's adorable. Great. I love that story. That's so cute. And you guys are a great couple. And I always love seeing, you guys post together, whether it's a beach trip or just anything, you guys are always together. That's super sweet to see that still. So,
yeah, he's my best friend. And he's like,
switching.
Having somebody to do this journey with is just really, really helpful and really like helps you keep pushing. And, somebody that's also in it just understands all the sacrifice and all the passion and everything that it takes. So that's been a huge blessing having him and being able to understand each other in that way.
And that's awesome because you're killing it as a singles competitor. He's killing it as a singles competitor. I love seeing the work he's putting in as well. And just the two of you guys, whether you're together in a mixed tag team type of setting or just in singles, you guys are both killing it. So it's awesome to see. Power couple of the Southeast for sure.
Yes.
I don't know if Kenzie and Hunter will have anything to say about that, so I'll say it.
I'm sure they would.
But so for you, 2025 ended with the Thirst alongside Kelsey Raegan taking part in TWE. What has it been like for you and Kelsey to form this team and kind of bring it to TWE and just continue to build that chemistry you guys have together, which is off the charts in my opinion. Like you guys are absolutely killing it.
Yeah, so like Kelsey and I just knew each other online for a while, and you know, she had a different character before, and then she molded into the character she has now, the like bloodbath burlesque character, and you know, we had always just been supportive of each other, and she was like, you know, we're both vampires, we both have very cool similar characters, like why don't we capitalize on this? Because she actually moved to Georgia, like she's more in South Georgia, but she was originally in Florida, so now she's in the same state as me too. So she was just like, why don't we make this a thing? Like, and we just tossed a bunch of ideas around together. We took some pictures together at a show we just both happened to be at, and we were like, let's put these out there and try something. Like, let's see if anybody bites on it. Bites. But TWE was like, yeah, we definitely want to give you guys the platform to do this, because we've been wanting to bring Kelsey in. We already have you. Like, let's do it. And that was like the first time we ever worked together was that show. Um, and we, you know, we did the entrance on the fly. We like kind of talked about what we were going to do, but we just went for it. And I just felt like it flowed so well together, you know, having her energy to bounce off of and like her lead to follow is so helpful for me. And so helpful for me to feel more confident, and especially in being a heel, because she is very comfortable being a heel. And I have not always been the most comfortable. So having her to, like I said, bounce off of, and having her to like guide and lead me is super, super helpful. We also just got put together at AWE at their Roar shows. So we've been able to kind of continue that chemistry and that dynamic, but it's just nice because it doesn't feel like we have to try too hard. It just comes very naturally, like the way that we move together, and like, you know, our mannerisms and everything just kind of flow very nicely. So we're just hoping that we can continue to get opportunities to wrestle together and tighten the actual like in ring work up together, like come up with some devastating finishers that we got for people, um and just, you know, keep elevating each other and having another avenue other than just being successful singles wrestlers to also be successful in the tag world.
For sure, and I love the work you guys are doing together, and I love seeing you guys kill it together as singles or similar with Sean as singles competitors or as a tag team. You guys are doing fantastic work, and I hope sooner than later to see you guys up here, and I have a good feeling that we will. So stay tuned for that because we might see something pretty cool. So see something pretty cool. This maybe this
Yeah,
summer. It might be this.
maybe so.
Maybe. But I'd also be remiss if I didn't bring up last year you had a singles match at TWE against Kenzie Paige, somebody who is just an absolute star of the Southeast, star in every sense of the world, in every sense of the word. I love Kenzie; she's fantastic.
Yes.
But what was it like to work with her and see everything that she has done in her own right?
God, that still is one of my favorite matches that I've ever had. Um, she she is so incredibly talented, and she always has been. You know, like when I was on my run at New South just managing Sean, you know, she was there wrestling, and she was still like on the come up, just trying to get her name out there, and she was just as good then. I mean, she's become even better, but she was still killing it. We all knew she was like the best wrestler in the locker room, and she's the best wrestler in a lot of locker rooms. She can bring out the best in anybody, and she, you know, being able to have that full circle moment and wrestle her, after being friends for so long. And she like being friends without me wrestling. It was just very cool to have that moment. And she, she taught me so much in that match that I still use now. Um, and she pushed me in that match. Like that was the first like really challenging match where I was like, okay, this is a lot. Like I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep up with her. And I could. And we had a really good match, and that was like a big turning point for me. It gave me a lot more confidence, and it gave me just kind of that like click moment of like, you have multiple click moments in wrestling where things just kind of come together and start making more sense. And that match was one of those for me. She's been another one that's become like a mentor for me since I've started wrestling. Like we had our match, and she's been around down here a lot more. So she's been there for me and been there to teach me something pretty much every time we work together or every time we're on the same show together. She has something that she can share with me and teach me. So I feel very blessed and very grateful to have her around. And I just hope we get to wrestle more, and so that I can learn even more from her and just have another banger with her.
And you think you guys go at, because we you go at like almost a year or so. It was definitely 2025. But we saw you guys go at it, and you were definitely still like the talent was all there and you were fantastic.
Mhm.
But now it's like we see this brand new different version of Ravenna Vein. So I think it would be
Mhm.
so awesome to see this Ravenna Vein currently versus Kenzie Paige. That could be super
Yes.
special.
Yes, definitely.
And also looking ahead for you, what are your future goals at TWE? Do you have anything lined up, or anyone lined up you'd like to face, or anything lined up in your head that you want to accomplish there?
There's God, I want to wrestle everybody on the roster. I one of my first matches when I was at I was doing their crash course shows. I did my first ever crash course, and I wrestled Jameson Shook on that show. That was like well over a year at this point. So I'd really like to wrestle Jameson again, with where I'm at now, and compare it to our first match and just see the growth there. Um, I'd like to wrestle Jaden when he comes back, which sooner than later, hopefully, he'll be back in the ring. Um, I love Casey Owens. I think Casey Owens is an incredible talent, and I love wrestling him. I've gotten to work with him a lot more at New South than TWE, but I'd love to work with him again there. Um, Goal wise, I'd really like to win either the TWE title or the Gig City title. I have my eyes on those two and would really like to, make one of those my first title win.
TWE has to get on that for sure, because that would be a fantastic.
I'm
Those
saying.
matches, those matches would be great. We need to see you at Holden Gold soon now.
Yes, please.
Definitely have to see you holding gold soon. So yeah,
Yes.
I can't wait to see the rest of what you do at TWE. TWE is a fantastic promotion. I urge everyone watching this, go check it out. It's on IWTV. I know they stream some of their shows live, some of them they upload, but they're pretty quick with the
Mhm.
uploads. So
Mhm.
check it out. Always banger matches, always banger shows. Cannot miss. It's
Absolutely.
gonna be a good run.
Yes.
And I'd be remiss too if I didn't bring up next Friday. You'll be making your return to New South Pro. What is while we might not know your match just yet. What is your mindset heading into this night and heading into your return there?
Well, my last match there was my cage match with Caitlin Marie for the New South Women's title, and unfortunately, I came up short. And that was April 4th. So it's been almost 2 full months since I've been at New South. So I'm very excited to return to see the fans again. Um, but my focus has shifted from that women's title. So just know that I'm gunning for Caitlin Marie no matter who I'm wrestling next Friday. She's the goal.
And I was actually going to ask about that too. The last time we saw you at New South, you came up just short against Caitlin Marie, another fantastic name of the Southeast, for that New South Women's title in a Crimson Crypt match. It was called, which I absolutely love the name and I love the whole thing. The whole match was fantastic. But what was it like for you to just take part in this?
That was a crazy match. That was my first cage match. I've been in some crazy stipulation matches, but a cage match is different. It makes, you feel so small in there. Like, I don't think people realize the cage is like a big structure, but you feel so small. It makes the ring feel so tiny. It feels like you have no room. It's just a different kind of feeling. And, anytime there's weapons involved, it's a little rougher. Kendo sticks, chairs. We had these doors that we went through. And we really that. I was very proud of that match and very proud of our work together. And that finish was rough. I got pile driven through a door that was made into a table. So that was a little rough. Took me out for quite a while, but it was a very good match. I'm very proud of that match. And I also praise Caitlin. She's another, like you said, another great talent in the Southeast, and another person that I learn from every time I work with her. So that is another match I'm very proud of. So everybody check that one out. It's Millbrook Mania from New South.
And I believe also on IWTV.
Yes.
Awesome. I highly urge everybody to check that out. New South is killing it. I love New South, and that match was just out of this world. I love that match. You guys killed it. And I'd also be remiss, the following night after your return to New South next week, you'll be making a return to Blood and Honey against Bobby Thunder. What is your mindset heading into this one?
I'm gonna whoop her ass. Bobby Thunder's another one I love. She is another great talent. She is up and coming, and everyone needs to keep their eyes on her too. She's got something special, and I believe this is going to be her first time on a deathmatch show. So I will say I have the advantage on her there. She's stepping into a new world, and I'm returning to one that I've already been a part of. So I think we'll have a lot of fun. We haven't gotten to work each other in a singles situation yet. We've been in a couple of multi-person matches together. But I love working with her every time I've gotten to. So I'm really looking forward to this match as well, and the chaos that will ensue with both of our characters.
This is going to be cannot miss. Does Blood and Thunder stream anywhere? Are they on IWTV or I don't believe so. I don't know if they stream anywhere.
They upload their shows to YouTube usually. It's run by Nathan Mowry.
Okay.
And he's also a videographer, and he's edits those shows with so much love and care. Like, he does just the entirety of Blood and Honey, the way it's put together, the way it's edited, everything. He puts so much love into it. Like, you can tell he loves this promotion, and he loves deathmatch wrestling, and he's great at it. Obviously anyone who's into deathmatch at all knows who Killbilly Nathan Mowry is at this point. So that's another really cool thing, and I love being a part of that promotion for him, because he was one of the first ones to put me in a prominent role in his promotion. So I hold a special place in my heart for Blood and Honey as well, and their shows do go up. I think he uploads the full shows to YouTube, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely be sure to check that out, and I'll be sure to link it in the description down below for anyone watching who wants to check out Blood and Honey, because Blood and Honey definitely looks like a fun promotion. Nathan Mowry is insane. So I love Nathan Mowry.
Yes, he
just
is.
the mind he has is crazy.
Yes, he is a
And
crazy
so
man.
looking ahead, and so looking ahead for you, what are your future goals that you have lined up for yourself, whether it be in 2026 or beyond?
I just really just want to keep getting better. I want to keep working new promotions. I'd like to keep going to new states. As much as I love the Southeast, I'd love to get out of it a little bit more, like go up north, go to the West Coast, maybe go overseas would be cool. Um, I desperately want to go to the UK so badly. So, if anyone out there in the UK, Scotland, Ireland, England listening wants to bring me out there, would love that. Um, but yeah, I just want to keep traveling as much as I possibly can, keep getting better, um, keep working better and good promotions. I really would like to win some gold, hopefully before the year ends. If I don't get it by this year, it's still going to be a goal in mind that I would like to win my first championship. Maybe Kelsey and I'll win some championships together. That would be another good accomplishment for me. Um, but yeah, I just really want to keep growing and improving and be able to keep living out this dream.
Sure, and you are absolutely killing it. I'm beyond proud of you. I'm beyond proud of how far you've come so far already because you're still so young and you just are tremendous already. So I give you a lot of credit. I love everything that you're doing. So keep up the amazing work.
Thank you. Thank you.
No problem. And one of my final questions for you is, you're still very young. You're just starting out, but you've wrestled so many fantastic names already. Wanted to, but is there anybody that you haven't really gotten a chance to work with yet that you really would like to share the ring with?
Ooh, there are three that come immediately to mind that I really, really want to wrestle. My ultimate number one dream match right now is Su Young. I love that woman. I want to work with her so bad. And I feel like it would be such a cool dynamic for us to work together. Um, and then I've like worked with them in a very brief, like 8-man tag. But the Psychotics, Leah Knight and Amanda Kiss. Um, I absolutely love those girls. They're out of North Carolina. They're both so incredibly talented, and I would love, love, love to have a singles match with both of them. Or a tag match, Kelsey and I versus the Psychotics would also be a really good match to have, I think. But those are like the three that immediately come to mind that I really want to work with and haven't gotten to yet.
And all those matches would be absolutely amazing, and I do hope we get to see them all come true very soon, especially you versus Young, because that would be an insane match. But I cannot wait to see that. I hope it happens very soon.
Yes, me too.
And is there any final message that you have to anyone watching this and how they can follow you, support you, or buy your merch in any way?
Well, you can follow me on all of my social media. I've got Instagram, I've got TikTok, I've got X, I've got Facebook. All of it is just Ravenna Vein. That's the easiest way to find me. I'm working on setting up an online merch store. Most of my stuff is just on me. It shows right now, but I do post all the shows I'm going to be at pretty frequently. And on Instagram specifically, I have like a little highlight that says upcoming shows if you ever want to see where I'm going to be. Um, Ever want to get any merch from me, I always have it on me, but I am working on the online merch store. Um, I also have a YouTube channel that just search Ravenna Vein, and I upload most of my matches there. So if you're ever just wanting to catch up on some stuff or you're not super familiar with me and you'd like to be, I have all of my matches together in a playlist on YouTube as well. And I try to keep that pretty frequent and pretty like up to date.
Well, Ravenna, it was a complete honor to work with you, a complete pleasure to work with you, and I thank you so much for your time because you are an absolute star, and I have very high Crazy World because you're gonna kill it.
Thank you.
I appreciate your time again. Thank you so much.
Of course, thank you.